This time on Woody's garage. Oh, that damn thing again. Jeepers creepers.
Here before us, we have my Craftsman 24 snowblower. This is the snowblower I've been battling with forever, trying to get the governor right. I couldn't get the governor right no matter what I did. New springs, pulled it apart, checked the governor inside, etc., etc. I tried everything. So I decided to try a manual throttle on it. I'll tell you something, a manual throttle is a no-go, avoiding the governor, that is. It just doesn't work on a snowblower. So kind of what I thought, I pulled this cover off and started looking at stuff, and that shaft is 7/8. Now I have another motor. I have a Honda 5 horse that I'm gonna try putting on here. I'll show it to you. Here's the Honda GC190. It's about a 5 horse, I guess. They say that Honda rates their engines by net horsepower versus gross. I have no idea. But anyway, I thought it would be a good candidate because it's just kicking around here doing nothing. The only problem with this, which is kind of weird, is it only runs on a governor. There's no throttle controls for it at all. You could hitch one up, but like, why bother? I think it'll work just fine that way. You know, when it demands more power, the governor will work and kick in more power. I put a new cam in this thing. I have a video on that if you want to go look at that. But okay, the difference. This is a 3/4 shaft, and I have to go up to 7/8. So I'm going to buy a sleeve to go over it. Now another problem with the Craftsman engine is that it's almost a 3-inch shaft. It comes out to about here. So that sleeve's going to come out and overhang this little bit here. And then this pulley assembly has to go on over the sleeve. And then it bolts in right here. You screw it in and it just gets held in there. I'm kind of guessing it may work. One weird thing with the other engine compared to this is just a straight shaft, and like I said, I need to make it 3, so it's going to come out to here. There's going to be nothing in there. But the Craftsman engine, I think it's called a power source or some crap. I don't know. It has a step that comes out and goes down like this, which would make the pulley stuff start, you know, about there. So I'm not quite sure if the bolt pattern also on the bottom of the engine is the same on this, or if this one is like pushed over a little bit like that way or that way. So I'm going to go ahead and try to do this regardless and fight the battles that happen. But I think I already ordered the sleeve, so we're already wasting $11 on that. But I'm going to get the other engine off so that I can put them side by side and see what the bolt pattern down here is. See what the shafts actually look like. Now you see what I mean by the step, the bump. The pulley's butted right up to that. So, given that it's a Craftsman too, I have to use both American and metric. And to get this engine off, it's bolted in from the bottom, so I gotta take the bottom plate off. Not too hard. So yeah, we got these 4 bolts we gotta take out. Yes, we have been in here before. We got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Still giving it the finger. Okay, that engine is loose and falling. Ooh, one thing we forgot to take off was the throttle cable that I added here. I'll just snip that and undo that. Well, that's off, and it's a good engine. Make a good engine for a mini bike or something, but no governor. First look at the engine on the snowblower. Looks rather handsome.
Oh, thank you.
Probably have to convert the pull start to the other side. That's wicked easy. And we have the bolts, the holes semi-lined up here. And you can see, now you can see that that's where that pulley wants to be. And that is, ooh, at least a 1/2 inch from the end of that shaft. And this one, of course, will work just fine. Yeah, just what everyone wants to see in the middle of the summer working on a snowblower. Anyway, this pulley seems to kind of line up there. And that'll actually be very close to the engine. And this one will line up with that much space before the shaft. That's like, I don't know, a 1/2 inch or something. So I'm making some kind of slug that goes in there. And then it has a big washer that's over here with one bolt in the middle to keep it tight to the engine. But the keyway kind of takes up a lot of the slack. As long as the bolt is tight enough to hold it against the engine, I think it will be fine. I'm gonna have to find some nuts and bolts too to hold the engine down, because these are not threaded like the other engine is. The only good thing about that stupid engine. Alright, we got an assortment of nuts and bolts. Look like engine head bolts from a Tecumseh or something. And some nuts, not the best, but not as big as what was in there. But should hold it. Okay, it's loosely bolted down, just snugged. There were enough threads that it caught just before the unthreaded part of the bolt, so we should be all set with that. If not, we got to add a couple of washers or something so that we can tighten it down. So there's a little wiggle room, which may work in our favor, but I wish there was none. But that's the way it goes when you're doing a ghetto job on this thing. Okay, we got this plate here. It's got to come off, and it should bolt up to the other engine, no problem, right? Probably should have put that on before I put the engine, mounted it, but we like an adventure. Okay, remember how it goes now. That one I got to use a regular wrench. I can't get a socket in there. Everything looks all spring loaded. As soon as I get this loose, whang, springs everywhere. It's really just this one. It's got to sit behind that washer. I just like to be over dramatic. Ooh. Okay, just fell. Kind of strange. This is for tension on the belt. Okay, that's got a shoulder on it, that washer. And this one's got all sorts of crap. That came down and rested right in there. It looks like it's been cut off. Definitely beaten as shit. By me, maybe. Yeah, that bolted in just fine. That's a standard pattern. Why aren't you working on your snowblower, for Christ's sakes? What's wrong with you? So these top ones have bottomed out. They probably used to hold something. I think this engine was off a pressure washer. Probably held some kind of pump here. And look at that. It almost looks like it would work, except for there's no sleeve in it. I will have to get a longer bolt so this will reach the the shaft in there. It's not as big as what was in there. I'll probably put some I don't know, thread locker or something on that. And also the threads in the shaft itself are not all that long either. And that kind of worries me a little bit. And quite honestly, I want to sell this thing anyway, but I want it to be right if I'm going to sell it. I'm not going to, you know, it's got to work right. Anyway, we got to wait till we get the sleeve, and we'll go from there. You still might need some spacers behind this. Might get away with some big ass washers or something like that. We'll come up with something. So I picked up some crap at Lowe's, these 7/8 washers. There's 2 in a pack. I forgot what they were, $1.78 or something per pack. And this sleeve, which is 3/4. Not quite sure what the outside diameter is, but I figured either I'll use this as a spacer, you know, cut it, or use the washers as a spacer. I'm getting the sleeve today, I hope. It's been a long wait. So I was lying in bed thinking about this stupid thing. I started thinking, like, God, if you put on washers, is there anything to stop it? Is there a lip? And yeah, we do have a lip. So that's good. Another thing I thought of is, I'm not sure what the idle speed of this thing is. Is the idle speed going to be enough to turn the auger? Which would mean it's kind of weird because it needs to start chomping snow before the governor kicks in, before it sees it. There's a demand for more power. So I'm wondering if that's going to be a problem. I thought of perhaps turning the idle way up. But I don't know. We'll do this first. So yeah, this will slide on. Well, at least it'll slide on that far, but if I clean the shaft, it'll go on better. And these washers are 7/8, so they're not for the shaft, they're for the sleeve. But that's how much I'll be able to push it out, which will probably be good. Just need the sleeve. Okay, I just bolted it down, and I kind of figured, like, maybe I should see if it runs. I mean, I put in a new cam in it like years ago, and then I put it on the shelf, and that was it. Actually, I'm going to check the oil first. Boy, that's low. Oh, this thing kind of looks like it's been chopped off. It really does. There's no oil on the stick. Let's just go with that. Ooh, better take these washers off. I'm flying off like shillings for the peasants. Choke's here, I believe that's on. And there's nothing else. On-off switch here. It's on. Well, that makes me feel better. That's an RPM. It sounds like it'll get the snow going. I hope. I wonder what it'll do for the drive though. Oh boy. A couple of things I want to point out. From this side, you see the governor here. Now right now it's wide open. So this would be shut down here. And in there, you can see it moving back and forth. There's no other holes to like put in a manual throttle or anything like that. And I can't even see where the, oh yeah, I think that's a idle adjust down there. You can probably get in through this side over here. Alright folks, it's the next day. The sleeve finally came in at about 8 o'clock last night. Good old post office. Not that UPS is any better. Might even be worse. We had so many things recently that they're sent here, they're in my town, and suddenly they end up a state over. I just don't get it. So, stop bitching and let's look at this. Look at that proud thing. Okay, let's see how the other things kind of fit over it. So we won't need the key because all these pieces have a key built in. Alright. Well, sure it'll fit on, but let me get these on and lined up, and then we'll take a look at things. Alright, with it flush on that side, you can see the sleeve inside. That much sticks out at the end. So, it'll probably be safe if we just load that up with washers. Gee, makes me happy I got 6. That's like perfect. Let's see if we can get it on there. At first glance, this thing down here, this spring, this is gonna rub on these washers, which I don't like. I find kind of strange. Alignment wise, yeah, that looks good. This one, come on in here. Don't be afraid. Yeah, looks like good alignment too. Yeah, I wonder if I'd be better off cutting a piece of that this spacer that I bought, because it isn't as big as the washers. These washers kind of aren't quite, you know, loosey-goosey. You can see, I mean, the washers are just you know, so much taller than this. If I cut it off at that thickness or a little less, because what I'm seeing here is there's a little bit of a slope here, and because these are loose, it's probably allowing it to go over that lip, over that scoopy. So we'll make it a little bit smaller. Then again, you'll kick yourself in the butt if you made it too small. So I think we'll go the same size, and we can shave it down from there. I got the sleeve hitched up in this old miter box thing. That's about the best I can do to try to get it straight. And I use a calipers, and it's just about right. And we'll see how it goes. It's probably going to take about 3 hours to cut through this thing. Yeah, the miter saw thing was great. It spun around and it it kind of made it into a screw. You know, that's where it ended up, and that's where we started. I'm going to just put it in the vise and see what I can do. Yeah, this is fucked up. It's going way off. You know, whenever I've tried to do this in the past the same way, it's always done the same thing. I got a cutoff wheel, but I don't know, maybe if I'm really careful I can try doing the other end. Back in the vise, I use the blue tape to try to mark where it goes. I'm going to use the wheel of death to cut it off. That already looks fucked too. Oh yeah, that ain't gonna work. Yeah, craftsmanship. Okay, we refined it down, being a less of a piece of shit. It's got one kind of, sorry with the camera here. We'll take it outside and you'll be able to look at it a little better. It has one kind of divot in it. But I'm thinking if I face that, maybe towards the engine, it won't even be a factor, you know? But let us see. That's our difference in height. The fuck up is like over here. Now you can always add a washer to it if it's not a lot. You know, and if that rode on the inside, well, let's take a look. Need a little persuasion to get it on there. Not so much, I guess. Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about. See, the washers were a little more flush up against it. But this might work out. Seems like somehow we screwed up our idler tension gear here. The spring. I was having such a hard time with the washers. Another thing that I did think about, which now I'm like dreading, that some of this is going to have to be cut off. It wouldn't have to be cut off if I use the washers. But the washers get in the way of the spring here, and whatever this is not doing now, or it should be doing. So maybe I can figure this out. I thought I had it exactly the way it was, and maybe the spring will work out that I can use the washers, because this isn't that good. The space does look good though. It looks like it, you know, it functioned fine as a spacer. Okay, I think I got it. This piece of spring here was just sitting above this, that tab right there. If it sits under there, and it's like under there and it's bolted down, then you'll get the spring action, or I think you will. If you don't, then you'll never see this clip. Yeah, that seems to give it the spring action. I still don't like how this thing is just wankered out here. And it's on the top. I think it's supposed to be on the top, but that doesn't give us room for washers. I don't think. Maybe. Let me try them. I just realized something. it's like game over. The key doesn't hang low enough, deep enough to hit the crankshaft, so this thing will just spin. Yeah, you can just barely feel it, or it'll shear. Fuck. I've hated this damn snowblower since day friggin' one. With the old engine, I tried everything I could to get it to stop surging with the governor. From pulling the engine apart and checking the governor, to new springs, to adding springs, to a new carburetor, to watching 100 videos on how to set up the governor. None of it worked. It would either surge too much or be way too fast or way too slow. I mean, I'd try the exact opposite of what the video said. I'd try everything, and I could not get that governor to work on that other engine. It seems like the only thing you can do now, though, because it's kind of, it's not like an old snowblower where, oh, sure, just put on another engine, it's fine, no big deal. This had, from it having that weird shaft that's stepped down about this far, and it's a 3-inch shaft. That's not on the other one. That's not really a weird thing, but it's not as common as like these. Yeah. Maybe I'll just give it away. I hate it.